All right, this time I'm going to just try to get the stuff into Blender. I'm having a lot of trouble with Copernicus. I'm not able to get 10 meter digital elevation maps. Maybe because I don't have permissions, even though I've registered as several different people using my USF address. Be that as it may, what I have going here is I've created a script with ChatGPT, and in that script, and I'll start from scratch. If I'm in a new project in QGIS, I would go to my plugins into Python console. I would then have a blank console and a blank script, as you can see. I can close that script. It's not relevant. There's nothing in there. That here is when you show the editor. You get the script editor. By default, it'll probably just show up as just the Python console. So when you're going to plugins in Python console, that's all you'll get. So you're going to turn on the script, and then you can open a script. And I have one that's called 3D Map Python script with DEM. I won't do one with Copernicus because nothing's working with Copernicus. Or I'll show you, which doesn't work because I can't get it in. Anyway, so there's my big script. And what the script lets me do is it lets me use a CSV file of different locations that I want to talk about around the world, where we want to put Fulbright opportunities on the map. So you can see I have IMC Krems in Austria, Eclore University in Pau, France, Qadiayad in Marrakesh, and Patel College of Global Sustainability at USF Tampa. I've got the latitudes and the longitudes. And I can keep adding to this list if I wanted to. And the way that I would do that, let's see, I wanted to put Mercy University, where I used to work in New York. And then I would go to the here and say Mercy University in Harpers Ferry, and it takes us right there, and then pick the place. I'd rather do it right on the building here and get the latitude and longitude, come into here and paste those in. But of course I need to take the longitude and put it in its own field. Be there, and then I have to make sure that this comma is gone. All right, then I save this. So I can just keep adding universities all day long if I like. And once I have that saved, then I go to QGIS and I run my script here. And when I run my script, it asks me if I want to come from that CSV. So I do. I pull from there, and you can see there's the data in there. And I pick my latitude, and then I pick my longitude. That's how the script works. Column name, and then I can decide which of those that I want to do. So if I do IMC Krems, comma, Mercy University, comma, Patel College of Global Sustainability. Then when I hit OK, I want the radius around it to be pretty small. I want to do maybe 3 kilometers, let's say 2 kilometers, don't make it too big. Gives me a folder for my DEMs and a folder for my outputs, and then lets me select either Copernicus 10 or Open Topography 30. Now, if I do that, it's looking for a VRT file, and I don't have one. So when I click off that, it says no VRT. They're switching to Open Topography 30 meter by default, which is great. And then you wait, and you wait. You hope that nothing is happening. You look at the console, nothing in red so far. So it's working through the script now. Nothing is scrollable because it's working through the script. And there, something came in. There's IMC Krems, there's Mercy University, and there comes Patel College of Sustainability. And it says open a 3D view, but it's going to tell us we couldn't do it, couldn't automate it. So we can't get that. Anyway, there it is. What's happening here, though, is that when you look at it, it shows the DEM, but it doesn't show the base map, and that is a bit of a problem. Let's go to IMC Crems and zoom to layer there. There's the DEM there. So the other script that I had actually pulled in the base map, and this one doesn't for some reason, this Copernicus one. So let me then open that one up. There's my script with DEM, and let me run this so I can get my base map. And here I'm going to go in, and it's the same thing, but I'm going to pick that last college that was in there and let it throw the base map, and then I got to go fix the other code. Label name. So I'm going to put in Eclore University in France, and I'm also going to do a 2-kilometer radius around it. Tell it where I want it to go, and now it should bring in, this one brings in Esri World Imaging. So give it a few minutes to run, and of course it says it can do that, it can't do it. So there's Eclore with its one, and our other things, if I zoom in on, let's bring in Patel College and zoom to that layer. There it is right there, and you can see that it has brought in a DEM. How would you know that? You would know that because there's the DEM. We'd have to turn off the Esri World Imagery. You can see the DEM right there at Patel College. And of course, we can also zoom in on Eclore University. And there it is, and we'll put back on the Esri World Imagery. Okay, 1 minute. Esri World Imagery is there, and when you have that, let's say if we want to get Eclore University, or let's go to Krems, zoom in on Krems there. Okay, there it is. Let's make sure that we have the, we got the DEM there. So if I want to get Krems with the imagery, I want make sure that the DEM is underneath, which it is. There's the DEM for IMC Krems, and the Esri World Imagery is now below it, so you can actually see the university there. And once I zoom in on that area there, I have the ability to go to a 3D map and go to New 3D Map. And there's a 3D map, but of course, even though it's 3D, as you can see when I twist the mouse down, it doesn't look 3D. And that's because I need to go to the Tools, terrain, and I got to go from a flat terrain, which is the default, to the DEM raster, and then pick that IMC Krems DEM 30 meter that we have. Let me give it a little bit of exaggeration. We'll bring it up to 2, hit apply, and now you see the landscape with the valley and the mountains. Now, when I have a piece like that, what can I do with it? Well, I can go here and then export it to a 3D scene. And I'll go IMC Terrain Big number 2 because I did it before. Pick a folder for it, say OK. And another thing I want to show is if I bring in a different DEM that I made that was smaller. So if I add a layer, add a raster layer, and look for my raster here, which is floodplain that I made myself, add that and close it. So this is a much smaller piece that I have. And I can also bring that underneath. So let me bring floodplain underneath the Esri World Imagery. It disappears, but now when I go to the 3D map view and make a new view, I can use that smaller DEM. It should be here under floodplain. Apply that, and now it's just that slice. And that's nice because now I have a smaller bit to work with that works more easily in Blender and Roblox Studio and such. I also want to bring my vertical scale up to 200. There, make it a bit more exaggerated. There we go. And let me export that as I am terrain small 2, because I have another one. All right, so I have 2 different exported terrains. So now when I open up Blender, then let's get rid of this cube. Okay, so now if I import the OBJ and I go to my shapefile exports, that's the folder that I was saving it in. There's the terrain big, so let's get that, and the terrain small. So let's get those in. There they are. I don't think they're going to map onto each other quite well. Also, let me bring in the texture. There we go. Because they're different sizes. But if I pick this one here, that's that, and then this one here is that one there. This is the Krems big, and this one is the Krems small. Be right there. So now I have them in Blender so that I can start playing around. You see that shimmer and shine is because it has an index of refraction that's kind of crazy, so I'm going to get rid of that. Same thing with this one, get rid of the index of refraction. And now we have the ability to animate stuff on this in Blender, and then bring it into a game engine. They're not geo-referenced, obviously, because they're not mapping onto each other quite right. But, yeah. But at least now we've got them in Blender. All right. Happy trails.